Quadrilaterals are four-sided shapes. We're going to do kites today. Kites is like a Wait. Carter, take those papers and pass them down. So kites are like what you fly in the sky. So some properties, and I'm sorry this paper came out so squiggly. When I put it through the printer, it got jammed. And then I tried to like straighten out the paper and then put it back through the copier, and then it made it like squiggly looking. So it looks really bad on the screen. So my bad. But anyways, so you have a kite. A kite is a quadrilateral with the following properties. So there's exactly two pairs of consecutive congruent sides. So the top of the kite or the front of the kite where it actually starts flying at, right? And these sides are congruent. So we have the top two and we have the back two. Those are congruent to each other. That's why they have 1 dash and 2 dash. There's one pair of opposite angles that are congruent. So when you're looking at this, angle B and angle D are congruent to each other. So it says ABC is congruent to angle ADC. So if this confuses you with the three letters, it says angle B is congruent to angle D. And then the diagonals are perpendicular. So whenever my diagonals cross, they are not bisecting each other necessarily. They are creating a 90-degree angle right in the center. The other thing is that's not mentioned in here, technically speaking, is when the diagonals bisect each other, or not bisect each other, are perpendicular to each other, this portion, BD, is the only diagonal that's actually splitting into two equal parts. So this piece, 1, 2, 3, is congruent to this piece, 1, 2, 3. So I'll put 3 little slashes there just because you can't have like 1 or 2 lines. A to E is not congruent to E to C. So when you're looking at these, use kind of like common sense. A is not congruent to C. B and D are congruent to each other. So let's start with a couple of them. Let's start with number 1. Number 1 says that I have angle A, which is 85. I have angle C, which is 43. I need to find B and D. What do we know about B and D? They are congruent. So this angle is congruent to this. Because there is no variables at all, and I know that they're congruent to each other, I could just call this X. How much do I know a four-sided shape adds to make in total? 360. So these all in total will add to make 360 degrees. So you can either do this in a calculator. I'm going to write out an equation. By all means, you don't have to write out the equation if you understand it. The whole shape. The inside. The inside of a triangle adds to make 180. The inside of a quadrilateral, a four-sided shape, doesn't matter the shape, adds in total to make 360. So if I solve for X in this case, what would B and D have to be equal to?
6.
No.
What?
116. Okay, 85 plus 43
Did that.
subtracted from 360.
180. Okay.
Okay.
It makes them an idiot.
They're both 116 because they are both congruent to each other. Let's go down to 3. 3 has a kite. Now I have diagonals. I know that this is 37 right here. It is not an angle bisector, but I can put 37 right here. Okay, so there's 37. So let's start with what I have. P, T, Q. So if I go in order from P to T to Q, what is this inner angle going to make? 90. So that's 90 degrees. PQT, P to Q to T. How could I find this right here? Let's just call it X. How could I find that little tiny angle up in this corner if this is 90 and this is 37? Yes, because this is technically a triangle is going to come into play with this a lot. You have a triangle adds to make 180. So I'm going to write an equation. You don't have to actually write this out if you understand it. You could just subtract in a calculator equals 180. So to find X, I'm adding to make 180. So what is that missing angle? 53 degrees. And then QRT, we already know is 37 because I was able to put 37 from here over here. So 37 degrees. Have I lost anybody yet? Are we like okay so far? Not too bad. Try to,
What shape is it?
this is a kite. So try to move number 5. Try to see what you can fill out for number 5. We're just kind of going down the side.
You go back to the.
Where else can 65 go in number 5? Yes. Abby, where else can 65 go? No. Yes.
Doing great.
Abby, where else can 52 go? 52's here. 7. Those are the easy ones. What about the center? What's the center always going to make all of these? All of these are 90. Good. And now when you're figuring this out, there's technically a bunch of little baby triangles in here. So you could start with looking at one triangle. I know that this top angle 65. I know that this is 90. So I have to find angle 1 by adding to make 180. Yes. Yes. 52 in angle. Yeah, no. So if I add to make 180 here, what would measure of angle 1 have to be? 25. What would angle 2 be? 25. So the key is with kites, the longer diagonal is bisecting these angles. So you have 25, 25, 52, 52, but the shorter sides over here, the shorter diagonal is not bisecting. And using your eyeballs, you should be able to recognize that 65 is larger than what's over here. So if I make another triangle, let's say I look over here, boop, boop, I have a 90-degree angle in the corner. I know 52 is over here. What would have to be angle 5 to make 180 again? 38. So this angle right here is 38. And this angle is 38. So now I can fill in. So the longer diagonal bisects them. The shorter diagonal does not bisect them. So angle 1 is 25 degrees. Angle 2 is 25 degrees. 3 is 90. 4 is 65. 5 is 38. 6 is 38. And 7 is 52. Go down to number 7. We're just kind of doing the whole right side of this. So number 7 is what all of you guys love. It says if WX is 14, so I'm going to put that in my picture, W to X is 14, and W to R is 8, W to R is 8 right here, we have to find RZ. Oh my God, do you know what we have to do? Pythagorean theorem. Because these pieces are congruent, it's making a right triangle. So I'm going to Pythagorean theorem my life away to make a right triangle. So I have 8 squared plus b squared equals 14 squared, because 14 has to be the diagonal. It has to be the hypotenuse. It is C.
Wait.
Yes.
The longest one is the.
Is C. The diagonal is C. A and B don't matter. Yes. Pythagorean theorem, you're usually always going to get a decimal, so be prepared when you do the Pythagorean theorem just to get a decimal and deal with it. That's correct. Yes. Yes, I will tell you which ones you have to use Pythagorean theorem. It is 7, 8, 9, and 10. What's your question? So A and B, remember, do not matter. C has to be the diagonal. So I get 196. Yes. And now to get rid of the B squared, I square root it. So in a calculator, you have to press shift square root or turn your phone sideways. B is around how much? So 4/8 is 11.5. So that distance from here to here technically is 11.5. And this would also be 11.5. So the answer is 11.5. Okay, we're gonna go in the back. We're probably gonna set up 2 problems. Yeah, let's set up 2 problems. So let's go to 13. So like I said, my hint to you is 7, 8, 9, and 10 are Pythagorean theorem problems. Let's go to 13. 13 says solve for x. I have a kite. No, it does not equal to 180. How much does the inside of a kite add to make? 360. Where else can I put 109? B, because this angle and this angle are congruent. And then I can add the whole thing to make 360. So I could do 2 times 109 because there's 2 angles that are 109 plus A and plus C. So plus 5x plus 14 plus 3x plus 8 equals 360 because the whole 4-sided shape is 360 degrees. What's up? Yes, take the pass. So 2 times 109 is 218. I'm going to bring down everything else. You can combine things right away if you want. If I combine my x's, 5x and 3x makes 8x. If I combine all my numbers, I have 218, 14, and 8. The nice thing is they're all positive, so I don't even have to worry about like them being ugly. 218 plus 14 plus 8 plus 240 equals 360. So you should get 15 for your answer. And the nice thing is this one, you don't have to plug back in. So that's nice. So you just get 15. We're going to set up one more problem together. I'm not going to solve it for you, but we'll set it up. Once you're done with 13, look at 16. Why? Is it? It's not bad.
It's like really necessary.
Everything is necessary. It's math.
Is it though?
Yeah, duh. You're going to be doing the Pythagorean theorem every single day of your lives whenever you get out of high school. It's so true. You know how often I use the Pythagorean theorem?
Okay, well, I'm not gonna be a math teacher.
All the time.
Wait, what are we doing?
We're doing the Pythagorean theorem. No, no, not in real life. No. I mean, in real life, yes, because like I teach it. Like today I did it. If you're not doing anything like in a crazy math background, no, you're not going to be. I'm like, according to my calculations, if I go the diagonal of the grocery store, I'll get there faster than walking the distance of this plus this.
I feel like the amount of math I'm going to be using in every life, it's like up to 4th grade. That's just like in through one ear out the other. What's supposed to do with it?
I mean, okay, number 16. Did anybody figure out how or what route I should go for number 16? Does anybody have an idea?
Left.
No.
Nope.
Tell me one.
I make one B.
Pause. I know.
Add and have it with none.
Okay.
And I believe you can subtract.
Yeah, you could do that.
Take that and then-
Yes. Yes. Okay, what are you thinking? Tell me, what are you thinking? One of you, any of you.
You equal them.
No, you're wrong. Okay, tell me.
Add both of them.
And that would be full 180, then you figure out that.
Yeah, that's what most people are gonna do.
11 and decimal.
No,
11 is not enough.
11 is not it. Okay, the easiest way, shh, most people are going to do it this way. 4x minus 7 can also go right here, 4x minus 7. We know that the diagonals create a 90-degree angle, and then you have a triangle to add to make 180. There's multiple different ways to do these, but most people are going to think about it like this. So I'm adding to make 180 in total. Because once you get X, you can plug it back in to find NQP, which is this whole angle, N to Q to P, this whole thing. So you're going to have this whole angle. So if I combine like terms, 11 plus 4 is 15x. Negative 23, negative 7 makes negative 30. Plus 90 is 60. Equals 180. So I'm going to minus 60 and divide to both sides. $15x equals 120. If I divide by 15, what do I get for x? Was it 8? So if I plug it back in, this is where I was talking about N to Q to P. It's talking about the whole angle. NQP is this whole thing. So I'm going to plug it in. You did it wrong. And I'm going to multiply by 2. Don't be a ding dong. That makes 25 degrees, but this is 25. This is also 25. So the whole thing is going to be 50 degrees.